This is episode 2. It's a double header. This is episode 168. Visible cell phone service. Initial review. This is the 39.6 Facebook and YouTube live finance show. The show that teaches high earners like yourselves how to make your money work for you so you don't have to work for your money. Talk general investing, taxes, real estate, syndications, Airbnb, paying for college, paying for childcare, and even the car you drive. We just hit episode 167, back from our hiatus from vacation and post-vacation. I'm going to do another episode, number 168 right now. So this is always kind of a process. So we haven't updated our cell phones in a long time. Okay, like I think it's been 2 years or more. We really should have updated them last year, but we didn't because I have my parents on my plan. No, this is not me and my parents' plan. I graduated from that a long time ago. I have my parents on my plan with my wife. So we have a family plan. And whenever we upgrade our phones, we usually trickle down our phones to my parents. But that means we have to transfer everything from their phone onto our phone. But first we have to transfer everything on our old phones to our new phones. We have to make sure that all works. And then we have to transfer their phones onto our phones and then make sure all that works. And that means we have to basically all be together. But because of COVID, haven't been physically together. Granted, we could have them mail their phone to us, but then they would be without a phone for like a week because they'd have to send it to us and then have to do the whole process and then send it back to them. So we have to basically all be together at the same place at the same time for like a couple days. And we just haven't had that since pre-COVID. If we had done this probably in Christmas of 2019, probably should have done it in Christmas 2019, but we didn't. And then it was too late. So we finally upgraded our phones. And I've been considering switching to Visible. Now, this is gonna be like my unbiased review. They do give me like a referral link. So I will post that, but I don't even know what the referral link gives me. It might give me like a month of free service, which is not really that big of a deal. I think effectively I get it paid for free because, well, this is the way it works. So Visible is a prepaid cell phone service. And in general, I much prefer things that are prepaid because then there's less surprises about what they're going to charge you for, right? Like regular cell phone bills, they have all these other fees on top of their monthly bill, where it's like, I was expecting to pay $50 a month and my bill comes out to be like $70 a month, for example. Right. And like my cell phone bill is like always the bill that I always like it. I see the charge, I know it gets paid for, and I just loathe seeing it because I'm like, I can't believe we're spending so much money on cell phone service. And then I was like half the time. Then the other half the time, I'm like, Victor, stop being so cheap. You're paying like 200, I don't know, $50 for like 4 people to have cell phone service. And that's like nothing for our income, and other people are paying the same amount of money, and relatively speaking, it's way higher. But still, it's like $250 a month. That could be like a car payment for a cheap car, right? But I'm like, there's cheaper options, but I don't want to have something that's worse. And I've been wanting to switch to Verizon for a while from AT&T, which I've had for literally over a decade, because I think Verizon's service overall is better than AT&T's. However, AT&T has all this 5G. I think they're a little bit ahead of the curve on the 5G action. This is irrespective of the vaccination, right? But and in Dallas we have 5G all over the place. So AT&T actually is probably pretty good. But I kept on thinking that Verizon would be better. And so then there's this option that came out, which I heard about probably around Christmas, is Visible, which is a prepaid cell phone service that uses Verizon towers. I think it's actually a Verizon company, but like their baby brand. I don't think it's like a third-party company that contracts antennas with Verizon, but I could be wrong. It could actually be a completely separate company, but I think it's actually Verizon's company themselves, like a subsidiary. But they use the Verizon towers. And that's really all I care about with Verizon, is I just want to have access to their service because I think they're the most dependable when you're going through the country anywhere. And I think they often have a little bit better signal like in hospitals and other buildings. and I'm often in hospitals and places that have a lot of shielding that don't get great cell phone reception. And I think that Verizon still is kind of like the industry standard for best cell phone service. If you actually, at least I've seen it on, I've seen pictures of what I thought was like the president's cell phone before, although it might not be. But from what I remember reading or seeing, that the Secret Service, the President of the United States, they use Verizon. So I figured if they're using Verizon, that might be the best to actually have, and to stop cheaping out and have, let's just get the best service. Because if I miss one important phone call, that's very expensive, right? Like it could be like $1,000 if I just miss an important service, important phone call, if I miss an opportunity. So that's been why I switched to Verizon. Also just been tired of AT&T for a long time, but I figured I'd try it out. So whole family gets together for vacation 3 weeks ago, all post-vaccination. They all had vaccination and time had gone by. So finally grandparents are together. And so then I go online and I go to this website, Visible, try to follow the process. It's actually really simple. And you basically just order your phone and you can pay for them with cash. I think you can pay on monthly payments, but in general, unless I'm getting it cheaper with monthly payments, I hate payments. I just pay for it in cash. And got the Pro Max iPhone 12, biggest size, and transferring stuff from one phone to the other now, because we have like 250 gigabytes of stuff, of pictures over the years that this accumulates on our phone, and we're always transferring that. So the transfer process took forever. I really recommend, if you do this, getting there's a cord you can use to transfer directly from one phone to the other. You need like an adapter you need to buy. But it took forever to download our phones and then re-upload them, but like many hours of transferring. But we just went online to Visible. We purchased the 2 iPhone 12 Pro Maxes. They had a special promotion where you also get a pair of Beats headphones after 2 months. And I think also a $150 coupon after 2 months. And I don't think that that was even required based on the phone we got. I think that $150 would have come just for switching services. I think it was for switching services to them. And so as soon as I made the transaction to purchase them, then they actually overnight the phone and the SIM card, with the SIM card already built into the phone. And yeah, I think it was already in the phone. Pretty sure it was already in the phone. So the overnight, so literally it was FedEx overnight. We ordered it on Friday night. It showed up on Monday. Okay, but if I ordered it on Thursday, I think it would have been there by Friday. So then we got their 2 phones. And then once that transaction cleared, then on our email, then there's like, click this link to put in your code to get your Beats. So then I put that in, and then it takes like 90 days to get your Beats, like these rebates are. But it wasn't like I had to print something out, put like stamps on it, and cut out a barcode and take it to the post office and then certify and do all these things. It was just really simple. I just typed in the code, copy, paste, and boom, done. And then it should hopefully arrive in 90 days. Okay, so getting the phone's super easy. And I ordered a new SIM card for my mom, because she was going to take my wife's old phone. My dad actually got a new phone last year because we didn't make it until my phone. So he actually already had a relatively new phone from a year ago. So he didn't need a new phone. So I got a new SIM card for her, and his iPhone SE, apparently they have eSIMs. So you don't actually need to get a new SIM card when you change service. You can just do it through the web, like download an app. It's amazing. Okay. So after I transferred the phones and got the SIM cards working, I just basically just went online and activated it. And by the next day, let's say they arrived here on Monday. I didn't get to work on it until like Thursday or Friday. So with those phone numbers that were being transferred, like Visible already knew about them. I think they had already sent that information to Verizon, to AT&T, because you had to, when you make your order, you need to know all the information of your old phone, because we are porting our numbers across. So I had to type in like the account number and our PIN code and the zip code of our cell phone service and which cell phone company it was. So you have to do that all when you order. So like when you order, you have to have all the information. Otherwise, it's not going to port properly. But then on Friday, or let's see, I think Thursday, I started working on it. And then Friday morning, actually pretty quickly, the cell phone service was active. So it defaults to initially having its own cell phone number, but then your old number transfers over. And so it happened pretty easily. It happened within a day. So that was great. There's this cool thing called Party Pay. So this is why Visible is pretty awesome, because it's so cheap. It ends up being $25 per person if you have 4 people. So if you just do it by yourself, it's $50. If you have 2 people, it's $35 a pop. Then 3 people is $30 a pop, and 4 people is $25 a pop. So for 4 people, it's $25 each. It's $100 a month. But what's kind of annoying is you can't just pay for it all in one bill. But to an extent, it's actually a little bit better that way. Each person has to have their own Visible account. So for when we ordered our phones, I had to make a Visible account for me, a Visible account for my wife. I made a Visible account for my dad, a Visible account for my mom. You have to do it all there, independent of each other. Each person gets their own account. But one person can set up what's called a party, and you name your party. So our party could be called like the 39.6ers. And every single person, they can on their app say they want to join that party. And then once you do that, then you're all hooked up to each other, and then you get your discounted rate. But each person pays their own bill. So this is actually nice because I have a credit card for work, and I can have my work pay for my cell phone bill. And my wife can pay her cell phone bill through her business. Okay. And my parents can just pay their cell phone bills themselves. Instead of writing me a check every month, they can just pay for it through their credit card every month and not have to worry about it. So it works out well. If you activate all of the phone numbers the same day, they will all be on the same billing cycle. So it also makes it a little bit easier if you were going to pay for multiple people. But once we had 4 people in the group, the rate went down to $25 per person. So that's it. Flat monthly payment of $25 per person. The first month might have been a little bit more because I don't know if that $50 got changed on the first day, or if that's not going to take effect till the second month. But so now we were using Visible, and on my phone it says Visible instead of saying Verizon. And it does say 5G quite often. So Verizon has a 5G network, and it'll often say 5G. At work, I haven't noticed much difference. I do have call over Wi-Fi available on this phone. And that is one of the features that I guess, I mean, it works with the Visible plan. So like if you spend a lot of time in a hospital, but you have good Wi-Fi, then you can use your Wi-Fi to do your calling, which is fantastic. So you don't have to worry about that issue. However, if you have like weak Wi-Fi, which I do in my actual office, it gets to be annoying because sometimes it's trying to pick up onto the weak Wi-Fi, then phone calls don't work. So you have to turn off your Wi-Fi to get the cellular to trump it. But anyway, overall, the service is fine. It's not as good as I want it to be. I was hoping to have like a miracle where I always had like great cell phone service and it was always fast. Maybe with Verizon it would have been like that. Maybe it wouldn't. I don't honestly know. But it's fine. And it's definitely way cheaper. I haven't had any significant problems with it. One of the nice things, if you have one of the newer phones that has an eSIM built into it, so I think basically any iPhone over the past year, by using an eSIM, that's just built into the chip in the card, your phone still has a tray for a SIM card. So you can get an actual separate SIM. So you can have 2 SIMs. So like in other countries, it's very common for cell phones to have 2 SIMs. But when now that you have an eSIM, you can use the other SIM slot as your secondary SIM. And so if you're traveling to other countries, you can buy a prepaid SIM card from that country and put that in there. And now you have 2 SIMs. And you can assign contacts in your phone to one SIM or the other. So for example, if somebody is in another country and you want to use the other SIM card to call that person, it'll default to that one. And you can just basically assign a default, and then you can assign different countries or different people to different SIM cards. It's one of the cool things I found out with the eSIM version. But $100 for 4 people, and anybody can join the party. So like if you're just getting it yourself and you just want to know what the name of my party is, you can just PM me and I'll send it to you. And then you can just join the party and you can get in at $25 a month as well. And if you leave the party, that's fine. We're still going to be at $25 a month because we have 4 people. As long as that party has 4 people, then it's $25 a month. So I don't know why anybody wouldn't be paying $25 a month, because all you need to do is find somebody else who is already on it and find a group of 4 people. And I don't know if there's any reason why anybody wouldn't want you to join their group. It's not like you can see other people's stuff on their phones if you're in the same pay group, and you all have your own separate bill, which is one of the nice ways to do it. It's not like you're all sharing a family plan and then you're all writing, Venmoing each other checks. So then it's kind of a nuisance. Someone has to deposit the money and blah, 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 blah. You're just paying directly to them. And so if you want to get a reimbursement from your company, you already have that transaction. It's a lot easier than paying somebody else, and then you don't really have a bill in your own name. So for that reason, it's actually very, very nice. And so, yeah, if you want to join, just shoot me a line. I'm happy to give you my party name so that you can get in at $25 a month. And you can use my promotion too, which I don't know. I don't even know what it gives me. It might not give me anything. It might give me like $10 or something. But I have it. So I'll put that link in the comments. That is it. Okay. 39.6, episode number 168. Again, this is brought to you by the Multifamily Masterclass, the online course. It's a course with live sessions on multifamily investing for passive investors. So this is really meant for passive investors, not meant for sponsors. It's really for passive investors to be a little bit more educated going into the space. All right, until our next episode, number 169.